Hey, I have with me Karthik today from Crafitti Consulting. They are doing a good work on IP research and consulting instead of just consulting and execution. Let's hear from them what Karthik has to say about it.
Thanks, Naveen. Thank you for the gracious introduction. See, we are an innovation research and consulting firm. The name of the firm is Crafitti Consulting. And our innovation landscape consists of various arms. One of the arms is inventions, which leads to intellectual property and patents and so on and so forth. So in the IP space, we help inventors, we help entrepreneurs to strengthen their ideas before they get into the patenting phase. So which essentially means, let us say as an entrepreneur or as an inventor, you have invented something, and after searching, you have found that there is a competitor who has invented something similar, right? And that guy has a patent which is blocking your invention. Now what do you do? So this is typically a complex problem. It's not easy to circumvent a patent.
Right.
So as an inventor, if you have to make it big in the market, become an entrepreneur, you have to design around this blocking patent. So essentially you have to reinvent.
Right.
And this time it is with constraints.
Yeah.
Because initially maybe there was an idea, there was a seed thought with which you came up with the invention. But then now you already have an invention sitting there. So you have to reinvent, and you need new directions to think. This is typically one of the types of problems that we work with our customers in co-crafting innovation. That is our model. So we help, as I said, we help inventors with designing around or strengthening their invention before they get into the patenting phase. We also help them after the patenting phase to do valuation, which is typically again a multidimensional problem.
Right.
Valuation is important because that's what determines how much of your stake goes in return for how much money you get from an investment fund or from an investor.
True.
So that's again an involved problem. Similarly, we work with, we actually work across the spectrum. We use frameworks which are innovation frameworks, and these are frameworks that we have experimented with over the years. We have tried them, we have failed many times, but then that is what has helped us to tweak them and to create these very powerful triggers or tools, if you may, which you can use to make innovation happen in very, very different contexts. So one was inventions, as I mentioned. Then we also work with customers on business strategy. We work with customers on process innovation, where we use something like lean thinking, which is Toyota's method of innovating. We have some experience on that. We use framework like TRIZ, which is a Russian framework for inventing, called the theory of inventive problem solving. That is what we typically use in the technical innovation space.
Right.
On the business side, we use other frameworks, for instance, the analytic hierarchy process, or maybe a little bit of blue ocean strategy. Sometimes De Bono's methods of lateral thinking and so on and so forth. We have created our own Vedic inventive principles from the Vedic mathematics sutras that we use. So it's an eclectic mix. That's what we do. And we also work across domains. So what we do is agnostic of the domain.
Okay.
So right now we are working with automotive, we are working with petrochemical, we are working with FMCG, we are working with electronics, we are working with software. So it's a diverse domains that we are working with, and the types of problems are also diverse. So we are working on patents, we are working on inventions, we are working on business strategy, we are working on process innovation. So we are also working with different sizes of our customers, starting from startups, entrepreneurs, for whom we have special, consideration, because when we started this company, the main motive was to, really position India, which was beginning to be, sort of bracketed as a back office of the world in terms of, the outsourcing capital. Whereas what we believe was the potential exists for India to be the innovation capital of the world. This was our own small step in that direction, so that we can help people or work with people to take those small innovation steps that will lead us all in the right direction.
Great, Karthik, but I feel that this is a real, very, very niche area that you guys are operating on. How did you bump on this idea, like suddenly? Because this kind of services we have never heard of in India, and it's really so great that you guys are focusing on this now. So how did you bump on this idea of doing something on the research and?
Okay, actually, to be frank, we did not bump into it at all. Maybe it bumped into us. It just happened. Just to give a little bit of background, me and I have a partner. So two of us who started this firm. So my partner Navneet, he was actually a research scientist at DRDO, Defense Research Organization of India, and he has been in this industry for more than 20 years now, working on different kinds of research, different kinds of innovation. And I also have been working for the last 11 years, so in different capacities. So, see, we were already into the space of a little bit of the space of what you may call problem solving. So, even in the work that we were doing, we were constantly solving problems, albeit we were solving them with our innate creativity or innate intelligence that each one of us has, right? Which we believe is what makes innovation happen. But then I personally was introduced to some of these innovation frameworks by Navneet when we worked together in the same team when we were doing lean, when we were spreading the lean thinking methodology to across Wipro, which was where we were working together, which was again a very interesting context. Because before we did this, the common belief was that lean is more of a mechanical industry thing, and it cannot really be applied to software or knowledge work context.
Maybe pharma.
So, however, we found when we applied that what really needed is an abstraction before you apply. So obviously, a direct taking of the principles and force fitting it into the situation doesn't work. You have to really understand why those principles were there in the first place,
Right.
and then maybe create new principles based on the common fabric.
Right.
So when we did that, it worked magnificently well. Touch wood, we were able to get a lot of success, maybe some failures as well, from which we learned.
Can you share some of those? What were the initial challenges that you faced when you started this entrepreneurial journey?
Oh, so before the entrepreneur, so I mean, just to come to there. So when we worked together on this, and when we abstracted, we started realizing that problem solving overall as a field is something that is not given enough importance. People consider problem solving to be something that anyway happens.
Right.
However, we have sort of understood, or maybe gleaned, that innovation, problem solving, the way inventions happen, the way brains think, come up with new ideas, is a field in itself. And there are specialized frameworks that can help people in moving ahead faster on whatever they are thinking about, and moving ahead better, come up with stronger ideas, come up with better ideas than what they were innately capable of doing if they use these frameworks. And these frameworks are for different contexts. And since we were anyway doing this work, and we are sort of completely occupied in making innovation happen, this thought struck that why don't we start a company that focuses on this, and it gives us the opportunity to work with multiple domains, multiple industries, multiple sizes of customers simultaneously.
Right.
And this is the strength that we bring, because since we are working on diversity, we can get all these diverse inputs into our frameworks. Your question on to answer your question on the challenges, so we did take this decision. Yes, let's start. We thought about it for a couple of years before we actually took the plunge. But we did take the plunge without thinking of so-called consequences. We said we are going to do this anyway, so we might as well start doing it.
So let me ask you another way. So are you happy today that you took a decision to take a plunge?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think it's probably one of the best decisions that I've taken. Despite the fact that we took this decision right in the middle of what you would call the downturn.
Right.
And most people were very apprehensive of the timing of the decision.
Right.
I mean, most people that we know, we have worked with said, this is needed and you are the right people to do it, but is this the right time? Do you want to wait some more before you do this? And personally, our experience has been, the right time cannot come in the future.
True. You have to take a plunge, means go take it.
If you're convinced about your idea, if you're convinced that this is what you want to do, then now is the right time. It can never be tomorrow.
So tell me something, Karthik. Like I also in my personal capacity at eLagaan, we keep meeting a lot of startups and entrepreneurs. We see that a lot of people has idea. Like in fact, everybody believes he has a very unique idea. So what would you suggest? And many people approach us, shall we go ahead with trademarks, patents initially, or shall we focus on building the idea a little bit? So what would be your suggestions to the startup community, like how they should identify whether this is really a valuable proposition or something it's just more like a superficial kind of thing?
It's $1 million question that you asked, and I think many experts across the world probably grappling with this question. So I may not be able to give a definitive answer, but some thoughts that I have in this regard. See, inherently every idea, at least some portion of it, will be unique. If not anything else, it will bring your personality into the system, because if you have thought about it, there is something of you that is there in that idea. So that uniqueness is always going to be there.
So that needs to be nurtured further too.
Now the question is, what part of you, what is your uniqueness? In a way, if you start thinking about it. When you thought of this idea, was the uniqueness, was it in the business model? Because you are a market savvy kind of a person, you are able to have an instinct with respect to what will work in business.
Right.
Or is it something that you bring from within as an inventor? The uniqueness within you is in terms of thinking about what no other technologist or no other inventor is likely to think of, and that's what you're bringing to the table as you in that idea.
Right.
Or is it diligence you're bringing? So you're bringing willpower and discipline, and it may be known, but it may be difficult to do. And you have the skills, which is the diligence and the hard work, that the steps that you need to take, which will make it happen. So depending on what part of you is making this idea unique, the protection mechanism or the way to build the idea, make it better, stronger, might be different. So if it's the invention part, and if that is the strength you're bringing, then you should likely strengthen the invention. Go ahead and get a patent if you can, and protect your space, and then build a business model around it. However, if it's a business model part of your idea, which is the precedence, which is what is the key part, then probably the brand or the trademark, from an IP perspective, it's probably more about how well it does in the market. So how quickly can you get in? How quickly can you make a name for yourself? How quickly can you prove its worth? Is something that probably that's where your strengths lie as an entrepreneur as well. So my suggestion always, this is my personal opinion, one should always bank on his strengths. Even in the IP, even if it is related to IPR, one should look at what makes the idea strong, bank on it, focus on it, and then also look at the other aspects as per the need. And when all of these things come together is probably when innovation will happen. When things start clicking, all of them at once, that's when probably will happen.
Currently, as you know, there's not a lot of innovation that is coming out of India as such. I don't say Indians, I'm saying India as such. Do you see a progressive shift there as what you said?
Actually, I don't agree with that statement at all. Okay. When you said that innovations are not coming out of India, I do not agree with that. I think there are a lot of innovations that are happening in India at the moment. they are probably not getting classified by the people who classify them.
Okay.
Because there are obviously some ways in which ideas and some of these things get classified by people.
Okay.
And innovation, after all, is a classification.
Right.
At the end of the day, it's a man-made term, a man-made concept. At the ground, it really doesn't have any other deeper meaning per se. But if you really see, every day, all of us are in the very process of, I know this is cliched, but in the very process of dealing with complexity. And India, I mean, all of us in India and Indians, we are very used to dealing with different kinds of complexity. And we have evolved our own methods, which are a resultant of way in which a chaotic but yet structured manner of making tough, of going through tough situations, and coming up with what is called a jugaad, or Professor Rishikesh Krishnan at IMB has also written a book right now on jugaad, and we are incubated at NSR Cell at IIM Bangalore. So this is a classic trait which really says that at the ground level there is a lot of innovation potential, a lot of innovations are happening. How do we build a critical mass is really the question we should be asking, right? And how much should we focus on not aping? See, there seems to be this mindset of somebody else proving to us that something is right. I think that mental shift, if that happens, I think we are ready to take on the world, pretty much, is what I believe.
So any final message you would like to give, Karthik, to all our entrepreneurs and upcoming entrepreneurs?
I think it's a fantastic route to take, and this is independent of whether how Graffiti grows and how we do and what we do and so on and so forth. But personally, it has been a very pleasing. It's been a road that has given me a lot of learning personally, and a lot of happiness and a lot of freedom to do things that you really believe in. And my message, or should I say request to entrepreneurs or people who are thinking about entrepreneurship is just get started. Don't think twice about should I do it, is my idea good enough, is my business plan mature, will it work? The only question that you need to keep out of your mind is